Podcast. I'm Jason, stepping in for Darren today because he's got the sniffles. We got Sam, Dan, and Roddy today, and this is episode 29. And if you can tell by my thumbnail, there's something going on. I don't know. It's something about fire, heat, hot. Anybody know what that is?
Pixel?
The sun?
They did say they were coming in hot.
They are coming in
True.
hot. So obviously, the big conversation besides leaks of every single solitary device known to man in October, iPhone 15, and I want to say it's mainly the Pro and the Pro Max. Is that correct? You guys agree with that from what you've read?
Yeah.
Lots of issues,
Reading?
supposed issues.
I don't do that. Reading.
Of the four people in this podcast, who has an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max?
Not this guy.
Not me.
So just me and you.
Just us.
Okay.
2 for 2.
So I'm going to ask you right off the rip, Roddy, what issues, if any, have you had?
All of them.
All of them. So when you say all of them, let me just, before you say
His
it.
phone blew up.
Yeah,
So-
this is my second one. No, just kidding.
So iPhone. So when they first came out, there was talk about display misalignment. Like the display was like crooked inside the phone. I don't know. Dirt underneath the camera lens, scratches on the screen, signs of damage in various areas. There are reports of bubbles and discolored squares. And it was happened for like the first, I don't know what they say, set of units that were shipped to the US, China, and EU. So I have a video coming out Monday, and it's a different take, but I opened mine, and I seriously looked for every single solitary flaw I could find. And you'll have to wait and see the video, I guess. But, so that's some of the issues of the initial shipment. They also talk about overheating, titanium failing, like bending, I guess, and then discoloration with touch, which I don't give a crap about that. That's, you get fingerprints on shiny phones, so overheating. So Roddy, you tell us your little story about what the iPhone 15.
I'm gonna go down the whole rabbit hole because it's not super long, but it's sort of long. And Dan, by the way, your fix has fixed it. So yeah. So
Hey.
I got
That'd
the
be a hot
phone.
take later on. You could tell everyone the fix.
I've had this phone for 4 days, I think.
I'm
4
making a
days.
video right now.
And it I just wirelessly synced it up, logged in, did the thing over Wi-Fi, going from my iPhone 13 Pro over to the 15 Pro Max, and everything was supposed to work. It said watch had connected, the cards had worked, yada yada yada, did all that stuff, right? So Apple Pay was set up, everything was like good to go. And last night, well, first I had several apps that I had to re-log into, and several of my cards didn't add. I had to re-add them even though it said it did. And then the watch was the biggest pain. Like, for whatever reason, it did not want to connect to my watch and work. So that was a pain. But anyway, so last night, the charger that I have for it, I've been using with my 13 Pro. It's supposed to be an Apple specific charger, whatever, right? MagSafe, the whole 9 yards. So I plop it on there, and it says it's charging, and it had like 20% battery, left. So I plop it on there and go to bed, and I wake up this morning, and it's only got 8%, and it says it's still charging. Like, and the dynamic island, it says if it's charging or not. And I didn't know what was going on, so I reached to grab it. It was in this case, and when I grabbed it, I could tell immediately it was really hot.
He got third-degree burns and had to go to the hot. No, I'm just
It
kidding.
wasn't that hot, but it was hot enough that like it was like, this is bad. So I cut it off and let it cool down, and then cut it back on, and then I put it back on the charger to see if it would charge, and it did. It started charging. So it like went from like 8% to 9% to 10%. So it started charging, and so I took it off, and I I started looking to see if there was something wrong. I took it out of the case. I plugged it in. Everything seemed to be fine, and it didn't get hot again. So was talking to Dan in the chat earlier, and he was like, maybe you just got a bad, something's wrong, you just do a factory reset and reset it back up.
Before you go any further, though, can a bad backup really cause that
Yes.
many issues?
Yeah,
Because from
I
what,
had the
'cause-
exact same issue on my
Really?
Xperia. Yes.
so it's not prone to just iPhones. It's a software thing
anything.
related to a lot.
It's-
Okay.
Yeah, it's anytime I get a new phone, I do not copy anything.
Yeah, I
It's
never
a
do
clean
either.
install.
I normally do that, but because it was the iPhone, I was scared that I was going to lose something, and because they lock you in. You know, all my Android phones, I just log into Google and boop, everything's there, so it's a lot easier. So I ended up doing a factory reset on it, and by the way, I thought the eSIM was causing it to have less, like a weaker cell strength, because it was also having, like, it seemed like it was having trouble connecting sometimes. So after this reset, it's actually getting better cell reception as well.
Huh.
And it seems like it's also, the battery is also, the health is lasting a lot longer. Like, it's at 95% now, and probably an hour ago
Interesting.
it was.
So you did a factory reset and started over again. Did you do a backup again or no?
No.
So PSA, if you're having issues with your phone, try a factory reset without backing up, and have a fire extinguisher close by.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I really like it. Like, I hope that that's fixed it, because, like, I really like the shape. I played with the camera some. I think I can definitely tell a difference between my 13 Pro Max, or my 13 Pro and my 15 Pro Max. And I really do, outside of the case, which I'm using this case because it's the Caseborn sent me this case. I'm doing a review on it, but I really like the feel of it, and you can definitely tell the weight is different.
Makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I mean,
14 Pro Max was the chungus, and it was terrible to carry around.
a phone this big, when you're carrying it around, it
Yeah.
makes a huge difference. So I hope that it turns out okay. I'm gonna be disappointed if I start having issues again. I really.
But
am.
that's so you had some. So you mimic what MKBHD said in his video, where it was random, where he was outside in 100-degree weather shooting video and taking pictures and playing games, not an issue at all. Then he comes back and he's on a plane in airplane mode, doing some Bluetooth streaming, and it starts getting really hot, and he lost like 20% in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's got to be a lingering software thing, like you said. The
think
simple,
so.
yeah, that might be all it could be. The interesting thing about the cameras on the iPhone 15, just a side note, I know no one likes DxO. I know no one does, but I don't know what it scored, 154 or something. And the only phone that beat it was what me and Sam were talking about before we started, was the Huawei 60 Pro bested the iPhone. So Huawei's coming in hot. I think that's a good thing. Not
You can get a
literally
lot for your
hot,
money.
but- What'd you say?
You can get a lot for your money.
You can. It's just unfortunate the situation they're in. I'd love to have another one. Me and Sam were talking about. I've had plenty of those phones, and they were always great. So,
Yeah,
I meant more so in terms of paying DxO. You know, it's
well, yeah. I mean, I could submit some cameras to DxO and probably
just
do pretty well. too.
jokes.
So no
Don't let the Chinese
discoloration.
state to go after me.
No, the screen's been super. I thought the screen was really nice. I feel like it's definitely, you can tell it's brighter. That was one of the things they talked about. It definitely is brighter. It's I don't know. It's everything's been fine, other than just all of a sudden I had that little random hiccup. And I'll also say this too. The reason I think that it's a software thing is because my mom has also said something. She's got a 14 Pro, and she's been talking about her phone feeling like it's laggy and not responding or crashing, or cameras messing up or whatever. So I think there's probably a software bug somewhere, and some people probably just aren't noticing it, and some people are. So,
Well,
Hey!
look who just rose from the dead! Wow,
Hey, how's it going?
we're just
How are
to
you
see
doing?
you need
Oh,
to
yeah.
I've been feeling like shit all week long, and I was just listening in on the podcast, and I wanted to just pop in and chime
Before
up
you
with
say
what
anything, Darren, we got a solution for your illness. It's
Yes.
something Sam used. What was it, Sam? What did you say helped with you were sick?
just
Nah.
straight rum.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I forgot. I put it on the spot. I don't know. No, actually, my go-to is Alka-Seltzer. That's my stuff. And then I drink
That stuff does.
the
work.
orange zest it almost tastes like kind of stale Fanta, Orange Crush kind of thing.
Nice.
But and remember, the trick is you only put 4 ounces of water. Everybody always puts a lot of water in the Alka-Seltzer.
You don't need that much water.
4 ounces. That's all you need. But yeah, that's my jam. And then a lot of alcohol.
I just drank like a quarter a bottle of vodka. I thought that would do the job. I feel amazing now, but I don't think that's got anything to do with it.
I don't know, but yeah. Well, it's good to see you, but yeah. So
But
what's your hot take?
I know, Tuna, I gave you the hosting chops today, buddy. I'm not going to rain on your parade there. I'm going to let you run with it. But just piggybacking off of what Roddy said. So, Roddy, I know you were saying you were having some issues with the 15, I can't even speak, 15 Pro Max, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I had a last night, this morning, charging issue, and then it got hot, and then I reset it. And since I've reset it, it seems like it's fantastic now. So
right, it's so funny that like I know on the internet, they tend to make a big deal of little issues that are popping up. And I think I messaged you today, Roddy. I mentioned about how it's, from what I can tell, like a lot of the issues that people are having, it seems to be very sporadic, which makes me believe that it might be a software thing versus a hardware thing. And I'm kind of wondering if it's just a mismanagement of like the GPU, or like something's got to be tweaked, or they forgot to turn on cooling, or I wonder if it's a software thing. But I mean, again, if anyone was going to fix it, I think Apple would probably be the one to do it. But,
and I was making the comment before the show started. You've changed the hardware, right? We have a 3 nanometer, right? We have a different chassis, right? It's lighter, right? And then you have iOS 17. What I always make the comment about is the patch releases. Apple has more patch releases than any software developer I've ever seen. It's always a 15. It's 17.0.1, 17.0.2, 17.0.3. And I was telling them in the chat, it's like, most people you talk to in software, that having that many patch releases in a release cycle is kind of not good. And then Apple is doing that every single iOS release. They've owned the code base for 16 iterations.
Yeah.
It's their code base. They wrote it. And you think it's like, and here's the thing, you've changed not only the hardware, but iOS 17. Anytime you have a new software build and you've added features and you have, vulnerabilities and you've squashed stuff and you've written code and you've wallpapered over shit and stuff like that, because if you think for 1 second they're not just wallpapering over dead code, I guarantee you they are. They probably are. Yeah. It's the way it is, right? You're going to have, it's new, folks. It's a new phone. It's new hardware. It's new software every year. I mean, look at Google. They run into it, hardware problems, software problems. And it's like, if you want an iteration, keep it on iOS 17. Get it to .6, right, and keep that iteration going, and then don't change the hardware. Don't come out with an iPhone 16. Right. And I would be willing to bet by the time the next year rolls around, you have the 15 that's been in the 2. I guarantee you will not have near as many problems because they've had a whole year to refine the software out and find bugs. It's just the way it goes. But we change every year. It's new hardware, new software, new hardware, new software, and people are fucking astounded that there's problems.
Yeah.
I mean, after 15 years, you'd think that this shit would be kind of like, duh, but we're not. I don't know.
I said that this is their Pixel 6, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I bought a Pixel 6 Pro late. Like I waited I think it was like 6 or 7 months, and I got a Pixel 6 Pro, and mine was flawless, no issue, nothing wrong with it, but everybody that bought one at launch, they had all these bugs and all these issues, and they hated the phone and everything like that. But later on, it got better. And by the time that the 7 and 7 Pro came out, the 6 and 6 Pro were still great phones, but they had just been tarnished with this bad reputation because of what happened at the beginnings. And I think that's what's going to happen to this phone. I think I think you're exactly right. Next year, by the time the new phone comes out, this phone's going to be great. Everybody's going to forget about it. and they're going to miss out on a really nice phone out there.
And it's the same thing with cars, right? If you talk to any decent mechanic, they'll tell you never buy the first year of a model redesign.
Yeah.
Never, never, never. I don't care if it's Honda, Ford, Chevy, GM, doesn't matter. Never buy a redesign because the first year there's going to be issues, especially if it's a major redesign of the car, right? We're talking serious problems, right? So it's to be expected.
What do you guys think about this rumor, if you will, that it's the SIM card tray that's causing the chaos?
No.
Because us Canadians,
they're saying it's all the SIM. It's all
We're
this.
just rubbing that in our face in America because we don't have that anymore.
I almost I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a bit of a joke at first, but then I thought to myself, well, if they've got a SIM card tray in some models, and from what I understand, looking at some of the stuff on Twitter, a lot of the models, a lot of people's issues with things like heat management and stuff tend to be coming from Canadians or countries where there's still a SIM card slot, which might be bullshit, but I don't know. I just kind of find it kind of interesting that there's a bit of a correlation there. It probably is nothing.
I think it has absolutely nothing to do with that. I just think that just happens to be, it's correlating because it just happens, those fact patterns happen to align, and I don't think they're causation. I don't think that's what... How could a SIM card cause all these issues, or lack of a physical SIM card? I think it's iOS 17. Yeah, it's a new chassis. It's a new 3-nanometer chip, and they have it. They're going to have issues with it, and you're going to have again variations in hardware. Right? It's manufacturing. They weren't all made in the same place, and even if they were, there's different builds of it. Right? Sometimes you get a lemon. Right? You get cars that come off the assembly line. They just have a failure rate, and you take it back to Apple, or you just deal with it. I mean, but yeah, I just think that those things happen just to align just by sheer coincidence. I don't think that they're one-to-one. Like all the American models are okay because they're eSIM. I just don't believe that either. I don't believe that. And maybe unless I had internal documentation that proved it, that they've done a cause and they've done a study on it, then which they aren't going to, because why would they do that and burn their mums? We've purposely fucked the Plus, also remember is you would think it would be the opposite. If you would think that they want to entrench themselves in foreign markets, why would they purposely do that, knowing full well that the ones that are going out overseas outside the American market, which is pretty much locked. It's like fourth quarter, you're up by 70, right? And you're just playing out the clock. The United States is locked in. iPhone, it will be an iPhone. I mean, why would you do that? It makes no sense. So I just think it happens to be they just happen to align. I don't think they're causation. I just think they're alignment.
I saw somebody say that some of these were built in China and some of them were built in India.
Yes.
Something like that. And you can look inside like the charging port and see where it was built. And they're saying people are saying that the ones that were built in China are the good ones. But mine still had an issue, and mine doesn't have a SIM card. So I think that, I don't know that maybe I'm just special, but I think that special. I think that Sam is correct. And I've been saying for a long time, the only issue that I really have with an iPhone is their software.
Yeah.
And he's right. That whole patching system, that's so stupid, man.
I will be honest though, when I got the iPhone 15, I had the same situation with Darren. I got the phone, started up, I'm like, it's still an iPhone. Like, there's nothing different. I mean, it's iOS 17.02, whatever. It's still, I'm not saying it's boring because Pixels do the same thing, but like I said, with Android, you have other options. You have other UI layouts if you want to try something different. Whereas iPhone, you get what you get, and you know the rest. So
I think, I mean, now, like we kind of know a little bit about what's coming with the Pixel for different reasons, but I don't know. I have a funny feeling that, and I know that Google released a video this week with its stupid phone talking to an iPhone thing.
I love those videos.
Yeah. Oh, and they're hilarious. They really
were good.
are, but I'm just kind of funny. I'm kind of interested to see if Google one-ups Apple here with the release of the 8 Pro. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Apple's going to destroy them in sales, but
except for Japan.
where Google is apparently growing for some bizarre reason. But yeah, I don't know. I just have a funny feeling that this might be the year where we see a lot more people kind of going, you know what? Apple's had it for a while. Let's check out what else is out there. And I think with something like the Pixel series, which has already kind of gathered up a little bit of momentum with a younger crowd, like 18 to 35 age group. I I think you might see a lot of people kind of going, yeah, like I want something a little different, because it is, like Tuna said, it is the same in a lot of ways. For me, and I mentioned this to Roddy, or it might have been Tuna, I can't remember now, I'm sorry. But I said, for me, one of the big reasons why I hung on to the 15 Pro Max, and believe me, I could have just sent it back, was the photo processing. So one of the things that I've noticed is that it's a lot better than my 14 Pro Max. The 14 Pro Max photographs were fucking horrendous. And I mean, and I don't know why people revere the iPhone 14 Pro Max and its camera and saying that it was the best thing ever. It was fucking garbage. It was garbage when it came out, and it was garbage when I just fucking packed it up to trade it in this morning. So the 15 Pro Max processing, they have done some stuff with their HDR, which I think is what really people might be interested in.
Yep.
No, that's not what they're interested in. They're interested in that they are in second place in DxO. Dan even said, he goes, DxO is the pinnacle
They're interested
of
in
rating.
titanium.
With aluminum behind it.
Right now, that's all they are marketing. Every advert is titanium.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Wasn't titanium meant to disperse heat better?
It probably does, but like Sam said, that 17 whatever Pro is a new processor.
Stick a nuclear reactor inside.
And someone, I think it's Marco in the comments, made a comment. You know, they probably rushed it out, and it wasn't optimized properly, and now they're going to have to curtail it a little bit. And I hate to say this, the Tensor G3 is probably not going to be a 3 nanometer. It's probably going to be based on 5 or 4, which is not a bad thing. And maybe they'll help fix the throttling issues they've had in the last few, iterations. But it's the 17. It's a badass processor, but it's in an iPhone. So to me, playing with this thing, I can't even tell that it's any faster than any other phone. I really don't see any differences.
The major reason for the titanium is the weight. That's the major reason why.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's why you see a weight difference.
And that's huge.
It is.
I think so too.
About it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a more durable. I mean, metal, but it's also more expensive. But I don't know about its heat dissipation. You have to kind of get on a website and see how titanium versus aluminum can dissipate. But really, what that was for was they took a lot of the feedback about the 14 Pro Max being heavy and unwieldy, and really needed to find a material that would kind of cut down on that. So,
shout out to Septi and Patterson there.
Yeah.
There you go.
This was 7A, not missing a heartbeat.
Well,
right?
and this also goes back
Great
to everyone's experience has been so unique. Like my Pixel Fold gets warm, but I have never got it super hot. My iPhone 15, now granted, I've had it for just over 24 hours, and I haven't had it get too warm.
Yeah.
I haven't had a phone get super hot, except for
No,
my Steam Deck melts my hand off when I touch a certain spot where it's supposed to be hot. But besides that, mobile devices I've had have not suffered from recording saying you must cool. I've never had that on any phone. Tell me I had.
My 13 Pro got hot. I mean, it was certain things. It usually, if it was something that was doing like heavy location tracking, like if I was on a website looking at cars, and it always asks, can we track your location? You hit OK, and you're scrolling through, it would get a little warm. Or if I was using the camera pretty heavily, it would kind of get warm then too. So it's not like the older iPhones didn't get hot either. But I think this has become, I think the reason why it's gotten so blown out of proportion is strictly from the people that have just blown it out of proportion, and it's not that big of a deal.
All those fucking
here's how I'm going to say
people who have got nothing better to do, just fucking sitting by the fucking X there and
Samsung people bite their tongues because Samsung will call out Apple for taking something away, and then they'll do it the next iteration. So, but I think MKBHD said it best. If you have an iPhone 11, 10, X, whatever, it's a hell of an upgrade. Go for it. But if you have a 14 Pro, maybe even a 13 Pro, it may not be worth it. So if you're an iPhone person, I think it's a perfect upgrade for you if that's what you want. People in this podcast right now, we all use multiple phones at some of us, I should say, all use multiple phones. So for me, I want to be able to use both camps, see what both is offering. And we shall see. Yeah. So
I can just say this: I've had my Fold 5 now for a month. I've never had it even get warm, no matter what.
That Fold.
No matter
5,
what I've done with it, I've tried. I've watched videos. I spent the other night in the ER for 6 hours, and it's funny watching people go to the charger, and I'm just sitting there going, watching 6 hours worth of YouTube videos and listening to podcasts, and got my Pixel Buds, and it's like, I'm still at 72%.
Yeah, but
So
can you
it's
play
just-
Genshin Impact on yours? Like
That's
this,
true.
that's the test, the true test. And you know what's funny? I saw a video where someone played Genshin Impact on the iPhone 15, and even on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it still stuttered. It's a very
Yeah.
demanding game, so I don't understand why this.
I mean,
I'm
I
the
don't
only
play.
one who
I don't
fucking
play
hates
Genshin
that.
The
Impact,
iPhone's
but I.
throttling a lot, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean-
What was that?
Supposed to be the iPhone's supposed to be throttling quite a bit.
That could be part of the issue too. It's
yeah.
overheating and
It's
throttling.
just I think we just I mean I made this comment to somebody earlier, but because there was a like a speed testing that was done comparing the S23 Ultra to the iPhone, and the S23 Ultra was sort of winning in a lot of things. But like, I think we're at the point now where we need to have them focus on efficiency because they're putting more and more power into these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
The phones aren't getting any bigger.
Yeah.
You know, there's no capacity there to increase the thermal conductivity or anything. It's just as it is.
I want some
So
air
they're
holes.
just going to get hotter and hotter. They're just going to
Air
throttle
holes?
more.
Is that
Yeah.
what
Was
you,
it a
the
whale?
point?
Put a fucking blowhole in
you
it?
can't have IP68 rating with a
want
bunch
it
of
to
holes
be
in
on
it.
top of it.
Perforated
Here's
around the
Darius in
edge.
public, and he's like, "Watch this." Like,
iPhone, that Apple should contact Red Magic and put one of their LED fans
Yeah.
inside of it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be IP68, but hey, I bet that damn thing would be cooler.
Listen, if they had, think about this, 360-degree speakers, so you got those little perforated speaker holes all the way around the edge, I'm sure that would disperse the fucking heat. And we
Well-
wouldn't have this issue.
Didn't
right?
ROG
I mean-
phone have a fan that came with it?
Yeah.
I believe it did. It's like
It's like a
attached on the
clip-on
back.
case or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
yeah.
Apple
clipped
needs to
on.
send us a free fan.
Okay, so like, almost halfway through the show, we haven't all we've been talking iPhone. I'm kind of done with it. So let's move on.
All right.
I agree. So,
Guys, I am going to duck out. I just wanted to give my 2 cents about
Oh
the
my God!
the
Last,
iPhone
I was
there.
on the show with a cold, and I powered through, but that's okay. I'm just
ooh.
My cold was a lot
I'm
lighter.
feeling like shit all week. Shout out to John in the chat. John's a good guy. We'll talk later
That's
on.
okay.
But,
Well, like I said, man, you look great, so that's all that matters. Better to look good than to
thanks.
feel good.
Thanks. I'm going to go try Tuna's remedy, which is to watch 16 hours of Roddy's OnlyFans with just a pair of underwear on.
You'll
said,
definitely be
maybe
throwing up a
some-
lot. Trust me,
Good
you'll get
stuff.
out whatever's in there.
Mighty Mighties.
Not
All right,
too
Darren,
violently,
man.
hopefully.
Hope you feel
Alright.
better, man. Hydrate.
get
feel
better.
brother.
Thanks,
In a bit,
guys.
dude.
See you soon.
Say, man.
All right, so I'm kind of iPhoned out myself.
Thank
So
you.
I'm
I was
going to
iPhoned
talk
at
about.
4 minutes in. I was iPhoned out.
I know. So
Same.
you guys
We
tell
ain't got
me
one.
the S24. There are some leaks and
Ooh.
rumors. Now I don't know much about the S24 and the Plus. I'm more interested in the Ultra because I always like the Ultra because it has the pen, it has all the features. So what I've read so far is it's going to be a 6.8-inch screen, which I guess that's Ultra.
Flat.
It looks the same.
Flat, 5,000 milliamp hour battery.
Okay.
A mind-blowing, that's what one of the articles said, mind-blowing 2,500 nits of brightness. Why do we care about brightness? I know outside it needs to be bright, but since when does that
It
like
needs
a
to
measure?
be as bright as a supernova. That's what we need.
And
Otherwise-
all I
it's
know
a-
is Roddy's head
We need our
blowing,
eyes to
and
be
he's
melted.
like, "What? Oh, it's the nits. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
I thought you were
yeah,
talking about
nits,
something
yeah.
else. Disregard. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, especially if you're an outdoor person. I mean, it's nice to
Yes.
have that thing.
I know, but I've never heard
I
until the
think
last
over
few years.
2000. I think over 2000 we're good.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
1,500 is probably plenty, but we're just
For most.
nitpicking at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't. Yeah, it's okay.
I want 2501. Be honest.
Ooh.
I want Google Play Edition versions of these phones.
Well, that would be. They need to bring Google Play back.
Windows
that'd be
phone
great.
version.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Windows phone version.
I had to get it
Yeah,
in
I
just
saw.
one
I saw the
mention episode.
device, and on the back, I think the camera housing looks practically identical. I didn't
Same.
see.
Yeah,
I
looks
didn't
the
see
same.
much.
Yeah, it looks,
and,
but that's
and it's
that's how it
following
should be.
along with what the Fold 4 was, right? We're into the Fold 5. We're really just into some really minor. And here's the thing:
Yes.
I don't really have a problem with that because again, remember, it's targeting the S20s, the Note 20s, the S10s, the S9. It's targeting those people. It's not really targeting the S23 people, maybe even S22, right? I mean, I'm okay with phones. And I mean, look what Duo did. I mean, they took a gap year. They just basically came
Yeah.
out. They waited, and I think there's something to be said for that. If you're gonna have a phone come out every year, fine. But I'm okay with having a year where it's just, not much to it. I'm okay with that. I don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And from what I've been hearing, and Roddy's got an S23 Ultra, I don't think that phone's broken at all.
No.
No.
It's a great
So
phone.
I think you're okay with it.
Well,
It's a very good
iPhone,
phone. It's a very good
Samsung,
phone.
the Pixel, they all don't really change the look that much. They maybe tweak a few things, round a few edges, but that's okay with me as long as it's, to me, iterative updates mean more efficiency, more power to a certain extent, better screens, that kind of stuff. They are touting a new 200 megapixel camera. Do you really think we're going to be at this megapixel war again? Do we really need to have a 200 megapixel
It's all that
camera?
Samsung's got, really. I mean, that's
Well,
their,
and the
that's
other
their
rumor is-
that's their marketing ploy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
know?
it is. It's a marketing ploy. You're right.
And it's a way because the way that sensor works and the size of it is that they don't then have to have a bigger camera housing, so they can keep that same chassis the whole time.
Well,
That's why they're doing it.
this is a bigger. It's supposed to be a new 200 megapixel sensor.
Yeah.
So,
mean,
periscope is supposed to be 10, a 50 megapixel camera now, but from a 10.
Was there some rumors of it being a 5x?
Yes,
or
so they're
something?
talking about
Yeah.
reducing it. Why would you follow in the footsteps of Apple? I mean, look, the 5X is great, but that 10X
If they have
is
the
effing amazing.
3x, if they have the 3x and the
Yes.
5x,
Yes.
if they have a bigger sensor on the 5x,
Okay,
it could still be as good as the
with
10x
digital,
that they've got
like
now that's got a really small sensor.
you talking with like a hybrid kind of zoom?
Yeah, I mean, it probably end up being similar on detail at 10x digital.
I wonder
so
if they're doing that for so it's better at night.
part-
It wouldn't
well,
hurt.
yeah.
They're big on night
Hell.
photography.
Yeah,
But
and
did you guys really use the periscope lens? I used it. It was kind of creepy, but when you go to 100x, but you
I mean,
know,
you have
up to
to take a
10.
picture
on the
of the moon.
10x
You
was
gotta take
great for
pictures of
like
the moon.
yeah.
nature.
Oh,
photography
the
and
moon,
stuff
right,
was
right,
brilliant.
the moon, of course, the
Well,
moon.
I got some really nice shots.
You know, and here's the thing is, my thing has always been, it's better to have than not need than not have.
Mhm.
And you
I
don't want to be
agree.
in a situation where, I mean, you don't want to utilize it. You're in a situation where you're not utilizing that hardware, that focal length or whatever. Okay, that's cool. But there may be people who are, and it's like, and if it doesn't cost you any more, then why not throw it in there? And I don't have a problem with that. And I don't think anybody, except for the saturation and the shutter lag, that's the only thing I really hear about Samsung's cameras. Really, it's saturation and shutter lag. Really, the
My
phone
issue.
quality of the photos seems to be pretty competitive. The video seems
Good
to be pretty
detail.
competitive. Yeah, I mean, and so it's always, if I can tell you right now, if you can get rid of the shutter lag and then maybe have a way to maybe the saturation be dialed down, or at least adjust it, maybe in post, or you know what I mean, but just maybe have Samsung dial that back just a tad. I don't think anybody really complains about the cameras. It's a nuance between what Sony maybe offers, or what Google maybe offers, or what iPhone maybe offers. But I don't ever say that it's trash. In fact, they don't like the shutter lag. That's always been the kind of knock. It's kind of like the boot loop, right? It's just the thing that won't go away.
Yeah.
Right? But I've never heard anybody say it. So I mean, again, I'm okay with the S24. If I had an S23, I wouldn't be getting an S24. I don't think.
You didn't talk about the
No.
important thing, Tuna.
Well, I'm not done yet.
You got more.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But
We'll find
it
out.
goes back to cameras. If you're spending over $1,000 for a phone, I think it comes down to preference. Like if you know the
Oh, of
iPhone has
course,
a yellow
yeah.
tint, you're gonna buy an iPhone. Pixel has that dark, moody, bluish color, and then Samsung has the more dynamic, whatever. They all have their their look, and you can't go wrong with any of them. I don't think I've gone over what you're going to talk about, but the processor is kind of interesting. Now we all know Snapdragon Gen 3 is the next iteration, but there's two versions. There's a rumor that I guess Apple has a contract with the manufacturer where the 3 nanometer is only for Apple for a year. So the rumor was that the new Snapdragon Gen 3 would be on a 4 nanometer processor. And then there was a rumor that, Samsung is going to have their Samsung version, which is going to be the 3. I don't know what to believe. I can't imagine with what Apple's dealing with right now with the 17 that maybe jumping on that 3 nanometer bandwagon is a good idea.
I don't
Yet.
think it's an issue with the 3 nanometer. I think it'd be difficult though, because I don't know if other manufacturers on the Android side would be very happy with getting an SoC that's not as performative as
And it could be. It's all rumors.
Samsung one.
It's speculative. I don't know if it's true, but I got to ask Roddy, what am I missing here? Because I'm not talking about the Plus or just the standard S24.
Well, who buys the Plus? And really, I mean, I'm not trying to and I'm not
Someone
trying
had to say it.
And I'm not trying to be cheeky about it. I'm just saying, but really, we had that discussion every year of all the lines of. I like the Plus. I think that's really kind of like I think that's probably the way to go for a lot of people, especially if you don't want the larger screen, the S Pen, right? If you don't need that functionality. But for some reason, the Plus models are, especially the last two iterations of Galaxy S series, they're the most maligned of all of them. And I would think that, I mean, unless we have this fake ass push where everybody's like, I prefer a 5.7 inch phone. Sure you do, right? And then maybe you do, but 99% of people don't. Like, you know, but it seems like for some reason the Plus series is the most maligned, and I've never understood that. I thought of all the phones,
it's probably the one that I'd have.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely get that over the standard S23. That's for sure. As far as if you're asking me, I mean, but whatever. Yeah, and just, you know, I get it, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Again, it's like the 5 and the 4 unfold, right? It's just like, here is Samsung coming out with something. They're not really getting crazy.
Right.
And you can say they're pumping the brakes on iteration, but I would argue that you could look at it the other way and say that they have finally found the secret sauce in the S23, and they just want to kind of tweak it just a bit. And they don't want to be in the situation where they're in the shit with bad process, right? And they got overheating and other issues.
Well, and Samsung is like the Apple to Android, I guess. Because they sell the most, I should say.
Yeah, I think just raw sales, I would agree.
Yeah, and people don't want to agree to that. Oh, they're laggy. The last 4 years of Samsung have never had those issues. Their updates are quicker than Pixels. They've really really honed in on their hardware and software. I think Samsung makes great devices. Even if I hate to admit it, for some reason, they come out at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, like we're approaching now, the S23 Ultra is still one of the best Android phones. It just is. And
and Roddy can say you can make an argument probably the best slab phone of the year, not just an Android but of any phone.
Yeah, for
sure.
It's
I'm probably the other one out.
I said that when it came out with that 8 Gen 2 chip, and I was like, because I thought that 8 Gen 1, 8 Plus, whatever it was, I thought that was a great chip, and then this one was just even better. But great thermals, really good cameras, fantastic battery life, amazing screen. And, you know, the software, I know that it's not for everybody, but it works. It's not laggy. It's not buggy. It's not glitched out. Everything that it's supposed to do, it does it. Now, whether you like it or not is on you, but it works. And it is. I'm streaming with it right now. This is the S23.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. Yeah, for sure.
And I agree with whoever the host is. Moto, I mean, I like Motos too. I just think that their camera is a little
whoever
shaky.
the host is.
I don't know. It's probably Tuna. Well, I don't know, because it comes up. You like post twice. I don't know. I don't even have a chance to even post nothing. I just have.
It's hard. Yeah,
that's okay. And shalom to Israel. Shalom.
There you go. You go.
But anyway, but yeah, I mean, and then and I, you know, and Dan and I will agree on this. Nothing beats the Nokia processing. And please do me a favor. Can I please have the slide out with the circle, dude? The best.
The slide out with the circle.
Ever.
Which one was that?
Well, on any Lumia.
Oh, on the Lumia. Okay, the camera app.
Yeah. Kick out with the dials.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, nothing better, man. It was such a nice. We just slide it out. Slide it back in and fire it. Dude, it was such a great UI. I just love the simplicity of it. And I think Lumia's had really good especially for the, can you imagine a Lumia now with their process if they were continuing it with all the new hardware and lenses and having a Leica or a Zeiss lens? Dude, man,
So Nokia kind of, what was that? What was the view when it had like 6 cameras in the back? What was that?
Oh, the Nokia 9 Pure.
Man, I was so hopeful on that damn thing.
Dude, that was so junky. Man, get the fuck out of here.
It wasn't even real Nokia. It wasn't real Nokia.
No, Nokia's not real anymore,
That's
period.
HMD Global. I'm just saying, but I would like to have seen, I mean, even phones like the 950 and even like the 1020, even today could kind of sort of hang a little bit. Can you imagine an 8-year on like a 1060 or something?
I mean, that cancelled 1050, or was it?
Yeah. I'm just saying, it would be nice to see, especially just for camera chops. If you're really a camera person, I really think the Lumias could have really held up pretty well. I would have liked to have seen it. It's just kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Big time.
So, Roddy, what am I missing?
Well, so
hair.
Yes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
First, I saw some stuff about the S24 and S24 Plus, the regular one, and they're saying that they might get a little bit more battery bump because they're changing the side rails and the frame is supposed to go more
Titanium?
flat and a little bit thicker. So they're talking about bigger battery on those two, but not on the Ultra. And then you forgot the Ultra is getting titanium.
I didn't hear that.
And a flat screen by the looks of it.
Yeah, they're saying
I'm
that
not
the
sold
screen
on
is
titanium.
gonna
I know
be
it's lighter, but
titanium.
I don't know. Hopefully it has a ceramic back too. No, I like ceramic backs on phones.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Probably
Actually, I would say my favorite piece of hardware for phones it was the Essential phone. I still like that device. Hardware wise, yeah, and the software is great. I mean, honestly, that I would have loved to see an Essential phone 2 or 3. That would have been sweet, dude. I don't know.
Those were nice
I had
phones.
an Essential phone for about 6 months or so. I got it real cheap, like $100, and I was like, God damn, this thing is pretty slick, man. I'm feeling this big time, man. I really like this device. It's a lot of fun to use. Yeah, it's just a shame. But yeah, the ceramic back was nice, and it's just a shame. I'd like to have seen where that could have gone. That would have been sweet. Yeah, it's a shame.
For sure. Okay.
Pixel.
Oh, okay. I was gonna jump somewhere else, but we can talk Pixel for sure. Pixel 8. I don't know if you guys heard. There's a phone coming out. I think in 4 days, 5 days, 3 days. Called the Pixel 8, made by a company called Google.
Never heard of her.
Parent company is Alphabet. A, B,
Sure.
C, D. You know, yeah. Right.
If you say so, that sounds a bunch of bull. That doesn't sound real. But whatever.
It doesn't sound real at all.
Pixel.
But this is their
Who
eighth.
names a phone that shit? That's silliness.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with cameras. I could be totally off here. I'm
I thought
taking
it
a
was like
stab in the
paint,
dark.
like little dots of paint.
Ooh, MS Paint. Yeah, it could be.
Oh God.
So Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro are around the corner. I don't know when obviously it's going to be probably available for pre-order on the 4th. I'm not sure when they will ship. It's not like Apple where they have it right after a week after you order it ships, but hopefully it's getting better there. And of course the website will crash like it always does. It does. Well, so does Apple's. Apple's had a bunch of issues too. So
did Samsung's. They all have it. Right?
not when I order. They're like, oh shit, we know the IP address. We're gonna let this guy through. No, not really. I got nothing here. So the Pixel 8 is the smaller, the baby, I guess you would call it. So what I've been reading, a 4,600 milliamp hour battery. Screen will be 6.17 inches, obviously AMOLED screen.
Money.
But the interesting is it's 120 hertz, but it's not the 1 to 120. It's going to be like,
It's not adaptive.
yeah, it's not. Well, it doesn't go down to 1 hertz. It goes to like
So it's not an LTPO panel. It's just
right. Yeah, I believe
That's
the
okay.
Pro is. Which
my
it's
question
smaller
is,
screen.
if you can set it to 90 and lock it in at 90, then that would be my jam.
I don't know.
I
if
really,
they would do that.
wish they would do that, but they probably won't.
But if you remember, the 8 is 6.17. Last year it was 6.3, so they're actually shrinking the 8 supposedly. Now these are all rumors, and Google has leaked a lot, just not a lot of specs. And the battery last year was 4,300, roughly. So they're smalling it and bigger battery.
Bigger battery, smaller screen, and a Tensor G3, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, 8 gigs of RAM, starting at with 128 up to 256. 50 megapixel, 12 megapixel camera. No real changes. Maybe the 50 megapixel might be a new sensor, but nothing too extreme.
Can we hashtag fuck 128? Can we stop with this shit anymore? I mean, God damn, come on.
Tell
man.
me how you really feel about that.
If you want the 128, then have it for the A series. But no phone in 2024 should come out with 128.
Yeah,
That's
I
fucking
agree.
ridiculous. Go fuck yourself, Google, on that.
Well, listen, the European price is going to be $799. That's what my leak says.
Well,
Doesn't have a U.S. price.
Go look at the 13T Pro, and look at that price point. What, $649 sterling? And I don't think they offer
which one was that?
The Xiaomi 13T Pro.
Oh yeah, the new one. Yep.
And I guarantee it. Do me I haven't looked it up, but can you find a 128 model on that phone? I would probably don't think. I think the base model is 256.
We were having a conversation about, maybe we and Roddy were, I can't remember, somebody was, and we were talking about, Google prides itself on its cloud services. So maybe they're thinking, we'll offer 128, and maybe they'll upsell the Google One, bigger. I know it doesn't help for local storage, but I'm saying maybe they're going to try to do something like, I don't know. I mean, it's all about money at the end of the day. So
I think, and here's the thing, I can understand you can upsell that, but you really need to offer on-device storage for a phone. This isn't a laptop. This isn't a fucking application that you're trying to leverage into the cloud like an AWS hybrid. You're not trying to move a data center into the fucking cloud. Okay, it's a goddamn phone. So let's cut the shit. Get to 256. I'm serious. I'm just.
right.
I mean, you got to get fucking violent
like
about it
this.
because these
I like
companies.
this a lot.
Well,
I
maybe
do
you
too.
can just do 256. It's like you guys can eat a gallon of dicks, man. Get it to 256.
Hey.
And
Right.
start there.
They'll make you feel better if you pre-order. This is a rumor. If you pre-order the 8, they'll
You get a
throw in
free
some Pixel Buds 2.
They could throw in some extra storage.
How about you give me the
I'm sorry,
storage and keep your
Pro
Pixel
Buds Pro. I'm sorry.
Dude, I got a pair of A series Pixel, and they're awesome. I don't
Yeah, but you get
want
another
a
pair.
watch. I don't need another pair. I want the storage.
Right.
Put the fucking storage in the phone and keep
Okay.
$100 and get the storage.
Okay,
Get the
so
storage.
Yes.
these are rumors. Maybe I'm totally off base.
It probably
Pixel
won't,
8 Pro is going to have the G3 as well, a 6.7-inch screen,
Okay.
similar 50 and 48 megapixel shooters in the back, and an improved 64 megapixel ultra wide.
Okay.
5100 milliamp hour battery, up from 5000.
Okay. So did they have the field? Like, is it 100? How many degrees is? I guess it doesn't say. I guess.
I don't have that. I'm going to say it's probably similar to last year. It depends on the sensor too. I don't know if they're up.
be nice
That's
if maybe
obviously a
it-
new sensor. So.
Maybe 120 degree. That would be. If any better than that, it'd be kind of nice. But yeah, we'll see. Okay.
As long as, and I'm hoping they have macro built into the wide too. I like the macro built into the wide, not a
Okay.
separate 2 megapixel crap. I like the.
I think
macro
they've got it
stuff.
on both. I think it's rumored to be
think
on both.
Both. I don't
What
know.
is it?
We'll see.
Wide.
From what I've seen, yeah.
But they're
The
gonna have.
64 megapixel wide.
Yeah, I think that they
It
should have
could
some
be.
macro tuner, and I think that would be cool. Yeah,
They're
that
pretty
would be
good.
Yeah.
Again, you're gonna like this, Sam. Their storage range is from
256.
well, hold on, 12 gigabytes of RAM starting across
Okay.
the board.
Whatever.
128. 250, 256 and 512. So the 8 does not have a 5. No, these are rumors. We don't know for sure. I'm just throwing this stuff out here.
I'm okay with that, but it's like, and here's the thing: if you don't want to give me an SD card like the Xperia, okay, that's fine. If you had an SD card, then give me the 128. Then I don't care, and I can leverage a terabyte, right? But
Is there a price on those yet?
Well, I have European prices. So they're saying last year the 7 Pro was $899 European. They're starting at $1099. So I'm going to guess
is that
take
euro
$100
or pound sterling?
Euro. So I'm guessing it's about $1,000 here, and last year wasn't it $799 last year here for the
Okay.
Pro?
I don't think that's bad.
I thought it was $8.99, but maybe
Was it
I'm-
$8.99?
I don't know.
Either way, I think it's
So
about $100
Pro-
difference usually.
7
Probably
Pro, it was
was
$8.49
$8.99,
last
but we
year.
all bought the 256 gig, so we
I-
paid
I-
$9.99.
I think
But
if
here's
you're
the
sub
kicker.
1,000, you're in good shape price wise. I think.
Here's
think-
the kicker.
yeah.
If it's $999, yes, it's a price increase, but I'm okay with it if the price is justified.
That's it, yeah. If they've actually added
128 's
enough
gonna
to
kill it
warrant
now.
it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That 120. It's just.
And Sam, you're gonna love this. If you pre-order the 8 Pro, at least in the U.S., they're gonna.
I
throw
get
in
a
the new-
Cheesecake Factory gift card. Oh,
Get a
right.
watch.
You get a Pixel Watch 2.
Which you could sell and get lots of
Now,
things from
the
the
Pixel
Cheesecake
Watch
Factory.
2 is interesting to me because it's gonna have Wear OS 4.0.
Oh.
It's gonna have a bigger battery by like.
Good.
Hold on, it was hilarious.
It's still gonna last a day.
100%.
It's still gonna last
Used
a
to be
day.
So it went from
100%.
294 milliamps to 306.
Not enough.
Holy shit!
But-
Oh,
Probably not
stop the
There-
presses. Oh my
So
God.
the rumor is they're going to drop the Exynos chip because it was an old one, and I thought they were going to use the same chip as the 6 because it was kind of slightly updated. But the
You can
rumor
get-
is they're going to use I'm listening here the Snapdragon W5 Gen 1, the
1.
newest. Yes, the newest.
That's in my watch. Ooh.
That's the one. Is that the Tick watch?
Yes.
How's the battery life on that?
Smashing.
But the battery's like
I
Twice as
like
big
it
as
like
this one.
three and a half days,
Yep.
maybe more.
that's okay with me
It's
for
really
something
good.
like that.
Well,
Yeah.
and look at the Huawei GT4. What are you getting? I mean, I'm saying, and this is a Huawei. This is a Huawei 2. This is a Watch 2, and I get easily 2.5 in it. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, come on, man. It's just like,
Couple of days minimum.
at least it has to be at least 2.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
especially
big
if you're
focus
wearing
on
it to
health and
sleep in.
safety with this too. They're not really focusing on it as a smartwatch. I suppose
I'm okay with that. Again, I mean, but like I said, I made that argument before. I mean, can we? I'm glad that's that way. Can we at least offer a Pixel Band? God, or you know, I
Yeah.
just come on, man. Just I mean, seriously. I mean, I can't be the only one who really wants more of a fitness.
Let me make some
tracking-
phone calls and I'll see what I can.
Yeah, yeah. Call your people.
I mean, it's
Just
got the same
Tell
bezels,
them.
the same size. I mean, I think there's gonna be some other colors options for the band. That's about it. But it's gonna start like at $400
Fuck that.
European. So
Fuck.
$300 here.
Nope.
If
Hey,
if
get
it's
a free
free,
one? You
I'll
get a
take it for free. I'll take a
Yeah,
free
I'll
watch
take
any
free.
day.
Well,
Is that
again,
with
for
the,
free, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy that.
I hope they offer the LTE one for free, but the battery.
That's what's
I don't even buy LTE watches because the battery sucks on every single one of them.
Well, I watch Scary If Literal's video on the 8 Pro, and dude, if that's what the camera's bringing as far as like, dude, I don't know, man. I love the fact that I got this, but I'll tell you right now, if I didn't have the Fold 5 and I was ready for an upgrade, even at AT&T, I would lock in an 8 Pro in a fucking nanosecond.
Well, and we all know, like iPhone,
Camera
they
features look
they
amazing.
Yeah, they look incredible, man.
They
Yeah.
have some huge software upgrades and
Dude.
hardware upgrades with the phone. They have that magic audio eraser. We
Oh,
talked
dude,
about last
and the pro
episode.
mode, and then
Yes.
just like,
Yes.
and then the fact that you can take a subject if it's like on the left, you can actually pick it up and move it to
yeah.
the center. Dude, that's stupid,
And
man.
Isn't that
the
crazy?
thermometer, and
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
measure the
yeah.
iPhone temperature with it.
Yeah, the high phone
Yeah.
is hot.
Can you just, Google needs to release the phone and then do one of those videos where they're on the beach
I literally-
and
yeah,
8
I
Pro is
posted about
testing the
that earlier.
15 temperature.
Right.
It's in a
I'm-
gurney or
I
something.
tweeted that earlier.
I watched that video of all the 8 Pro features with the camera and the software. I'm telling you, man, that alone is worth $100 of an upgrade. I'm sorry,
Yep.
that's easily worth $100.
Look,
for sure.
I'm not trying to harp on Google's hardware. They're doing much better, and they're marketing a hell of a lot better. But their software you can't replace their software. It's just that good. I know that.
call screening and the astrophotography.
Well,
and
iPhone has
everything.
moved to
Spot on.
on-device machine learning now, and so is their watch. Great, unfortunately, Google doesn't. They talk about AI, but they don't talk about everyone who uses an iPhone, they're shut in their own little world, so they think, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. But we've all had it for a while if you have a Pixel device,
True.
So
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, if that's what Google's going to bring to the 8 Pro and the colors and just the little bit of a refinement in the G3 and all that kind of stuff and a little better, and they're asking for $100 more, I don't think that's outside the realm of,
I don't think so either.
I think that's pretty fair.
I think the
pretty fair
G3
ask.
is going to be significant.
Yeah, I think so.
Upgrade. I think it's going to be pretty significant.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking
and they're
forward to it.
talking. I know it's stupid because iPhone's like, oh, we're going to play Resident Evil 4 on my phone. And it's
Nobody's
great.
doing
Okay.
that.
No,
Nobody's
but either
doing that.
way, they're saying, but ray tracing has been done by MediaTek. They're saying the Tensor 3 is going to have the AV1 codec in it. Just like,
AV1's nice.
yeah,
That's good.
and it's all stuff that's been done. But since Apple was first to the punch, it's going to say we all copied. And I'm going to go on a limb here, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe when the 8 Pro
You're
comes
wrong.
out, when the 8 Pro comes out, there's going to be a tech YouTuber that's going to find a fault.
Oh, fuck, man.
I guarantee there's going to be a fault with the Pixel 8
It's
Pro.
going to be me.
Hard
It's
to
gonna be
believe.
me.
Shut your mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Of course they will. I mean,
I
it's like,
know.
I mean,
That's the world.
it's almost to the point now where it's almost like comically expected to be somebody's going to throw shade. It's going to suck. The first person that has one that looks creepy or it's got the side scratched or it gets a little warm, everybody's going to shit on it. Whatever, man. That's like, even with the 15 Pro, look at what Roddy did. He basically factory reset the phone, which, by the way, if you're moving to a new device, you should, if you can get away with a clone over and you can port your shit and it works great. But if you
I
have
do,
any,
generally, yeah.
right, and if you can get it to work, great. But if you're having like Roddy's running into eating and lag and fuck, just clear the fucking device
Quick
out,
reset.
install it clean. Don't import all your shit and just bring over your Instagram.
Well,
and
Roddy's
your Facebook.
didn't tell you the whole story. So he was recording for almost 13 hours straight for OnlyFans. So he didn't tell you the reason why it was really.
Sorry, come in.
I was sending bunches of dick pics and it just got warm.
Darren paid
said
me
this-
for a private, and I mean, it was just.
Darren, that's why he's sick, right?
It was yeah. Darren's out of control. He ran out of stamina. He got sick. Yeah, that's what
But yeah,
wore
the
him down.
exact same thing happened with my
I
Xperia.
didn't say that. I shouldn't have said that.
The same thing happened. I had it for like 2-3 days. It was like getting really hot, and it was acting a bit funny. And I was like, I'm just gonna reset it, and everything it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Your
I mean,
Sony?
it
is
It
that what you
doesn't
said?
happen all the time. It doesn't happen all the
You
time.
didn't make a video. Oh my God,
I
the
didn't
Sony's
actually.
over,
No.
is,
I mentioned it on Twitter.
and no
and
one
a
cared,
friend
right?
A friend of mine had the same issue, and he reset his, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that was
I
it.
mean, that's what, and the same thing if you're going into a 14 beta, right, or anything else. Like I said,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're having performance issues, if you're having lag, if you got apps that are crashing, you got general just general software junk, man. Just clear the damn thing out and reinstall it clean, and chances are you're probably going to be in good shape.
Well, since Roddy's overheating issues, he has been having some performance issues on OnlyFans, I've heard. So I don't know.
They make pills for that.
Okay, I want to wrap this up real quick. I know we don't have a whole lot of time.
Sure.
Nothing has a subsidy of their brand called CMF. And I know it doesn't sound very exciting. Cheap crap is what I shouldn't say cheap crap. Cheaper products, but the designs are killer. I want to get my hands on the earbuds and the watch. The charger I don't really care about. So they're offering 3 products. They're not really available yet, and I've heard it's UK, European release, and US release first. I don't know if that's true or not.
In the store in London.
Yeah.
Okay.
The watch,
So let me
I think
see
the
if I
watch
can-
looks pretty good.
I think the
be
watch
honest.
looks great.
Yeah, the watch is okay, and then like the earbuds might be pretty good. And for
For the
you know, if you're-
prices.
yeah, for the price. I mean, what the hell? Why not give it a shot? What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So the watch. Sam, I know you'll be excited about this. It's going to be a basic watch. It's not going to have Wear OS, iOS. It's going to have sleep tracking, 110. I forget what they call it, the OS. It's like a lot of companies use them. They're just built into the phone, the watch itself. It's not like an updatable thing, really. It's 60. So they're going to start at $69,
perfect.
and it looks like.
It's a great price.
Did someone just chuckle at that price?
No, it's perfect. $70.
I thought
is
someone
sweet.
chuckled at that.
No, that's actually sweet.
It includes a heart sensor, blood oxygen, built-in multi-system GPS, which I like because when I do run, I don't want to carry my phone with me. And obviously having a GPS is more accurate. The only issue is, to listen to music, I'll have to carry my phone because this does not do offline music.
I got one of those armband things for your phone. It works okay. I mean, not for this phone. It's just too heavy.
Well, and for the iPhone 15 Pro, you're not going to be putting that in an armband. I think it's way too big. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You can get those too.
But yeah, Watch Pro looks pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
what else
I think it looks beautiful, and the OS is unique and different, just like the Nothing phone.
I'm not a big fan of the fact that it looks kind of like an Apple Watch Ultra. I'm not a big fan of the square design.
The trouble is nothing just seems to be making everything look like Apple stuff.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like just try and do something that's your own identity. I mean, I know they've sort of got their own thing that makes it their own identity, but it still looks like an iPhone. It still looks like an Apple Watch.
Well, from what I understand, CMF is going to be like budget, but they're still going to focus on design. So yeah, it looks like a rectangle Apple Watch, but the software looks nothing. Obviously, it looks nothing like it. And I haven't seen it in person, but it looks unique in that respect.
Well, and the Buds Pro, I mean, they got a real kind of this. And I'm not buying the Buds Pro because I'm sorry, I can't get down with the stem design. That stem sticking out of your ear just looks doofy as shit.
Well, before you move on to the Pro. The watch is supposed to have 13 days battery life.
There you go.
That's
you go.
Tracker territory for you.
Sold.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Buds, $49.
Okay.
They have multiple microphones, like most do. Bass boost, they're touting that. It's going to have an app where you can change this, kind of like Nothing does. And they say 11 hours of playback with active noise cancellation off. So it does have active noise cancellation.
ANC, okay.
It ain't going to be, it's not going to kill any expensive device, but just to have that option for a little bit, and
But
it's already in your ear.
If you're using that, if you really want the audio fidelity and stuff like that, you're not going to be leveraging. You're going to be spending a little bit more money or using a wired solution, right, or something like that. You're not. This is more for like podcasts. Listening to this podcast, by the way, you can be listening to this one, right? And then it's not so much for for $49, man, you can't go wrong. And that 11 hours is pretty good.
And it looks unique. It's got a bright color. Yeah. It sticks out. It's a little different.
I just don't like the stems. That's why I don't like the the Nothing ones and then the OnePlus one. I just don't like the stems sticking out. I'm not a fan
For me,
of
the
that
stems
design.
Sometimes I can't get it into my ear because of the stems.
Yeah,
I've had a few earbuds like that.
I've got the Pixel Buds A series, and I love those things. Those
well,
things
it's because like the Samsung Buds, they go right in. There's no stem. Right.
Yeah, I like those.
And then obviously, if you're a big GAN charger, I mean, that's the new technology. A bunch of wattage in a small package, basically. Yeah. Okay. 65 watts ain't bad. No. 2 Type Cs and but I have one like this, just like this. I bought from Amazon from some no-name brand. And it's 65 watts and it's a GAN charger. So I don't think I paid. This is going to be retailing at $39. I think I paid about the same, maybe a little more.
Yeah, I mean, if I was looking for a watch to replace the my Huawei because it's just older for a smartwatch, or I would give that a try. The CMF one, I'm not a big fan of the square design. Not just because it looks like an Apple Watch, it's just because I don't like the square. But for $70, you can't beat it. It's pretty good.
Well, I guess to wrap it up, it sounds like the four of us, minus Darren because he doesn't count, he's not here. We all are looking forward to the Pixel 8 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That'll
That's
be
what I'm
on
getting.
Wednesday, the 4th. I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern for me at least, because I'm in the Eastern time zone. So it'd be 10 a.m. And then we're all pretty good, big fans of the CMF brand from Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, not so much for what it's bringing, but the price point really is a low barrier to entry. So, I mean, even if you get the watch and it doesn't work for you, I mean, it's $70. You know, it's not bad. Whereas depending you're like $250, and it's like, man, this really. I mean, look at all the people that bought the Samsung 6 series, right? And they're like, they're all that money, and they're like, just when it's only $70, you're like. Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
It's not terrible,
so,
but
yeah, I don't feel like I got hosed on it, right? You actually don't feel like you got basically your pocket got fleeced, right? I mean, you feel
Don't be surprised if they start making phones on that brand as well.
I just don't understand why they separate themselves. Why can't they label? I mean, it's a Nothing. They're going to come in Nothing watch with.
I think they just want a more budget friendly brand,
and you need to have
and
a.
they want the Nothing phone to then create. That's why the Nothing was like creeping up, and it'll become a premium option.
You need to have that differentiation because I can tell you right now, you don't want that name to be commingled, right? Because at some point, the Nothing brand may want to start to creep into that.
They want it like iPhone.
Right. And like I said,
And
the CMF,
as
if it
everything
locks
else.
stuff, then you know for sure that's a budget choice, right?
I think CMF, it stands for like what, color, something, and form. It's like a common form. It's a common acronym for something used in creating something or other.
Yeah.
I think I read it somewhere. What is it? Yeah, so I think that's something that you need.
I'm okay with the differentiation. I think that's a smart move by Carl Pei. I think that's a good. You keep that. That way, you know the CMF brand stays in that budget segment, and that's where they're going to lock in. And maybe they creep up at some point into a mid tier, but you want to keep the Nothing phone separate from that because that may want to have some premium upswing depending on how it goes. Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's a good approach.
Next Friday will be episode 30. And I don't know if I'll be hosting, but if Darren's back, I want to at least ask who had pre-ordered the Pixel 8 or 8 Pro. And we'll go from there, I guess.
Yeah,
I won't be in next week.
Because you'll be too big. Oh, yeah, you'll be. Yeah, okay.
Well, also, I won't be getting the 8 Pro. Yeah, and that's not.
But I am getting the 8
like
Pro.
the John Travolta grease. That's not.
No,
he's gonna be doing a play version of grease.
No, God, no. Sounds like the worst thing.
You're leaving us for the play of Grease? Come on.
I'd throw myself off a cliff if that was the case.
Tell me, boy. Tell me, boy.
Oh my! There you go, Dan. Start practicing. I mean, you guys can go off the
cliff
camera
jumping?
here.
It's pretty straightforward, mate.
Thelma and Louise, just drive off the cliff. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week, Friday at 7 p.m.